The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. And a black male who swirls and sees a white woman as a racist and still goes back to her is certifiable. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other two books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online booksellers everywhere today. ABC's first black bachelor, Matt James, has decided to get back involved with Rachel Kirkconnell. Now, your Matt James broke up with your Rachel Kirkconnell in the final episode of The Bachelor after it was revealed that your Rachel Kirkconnell attended an antebellum party a couple of years before she came on the show. Now, your Matt James says that he's on people who care about being allies to do the work to be anti-racist, and he believes it's unfair to leave people without the ability to unlearn and be better. Now, when I take a critical examination of your Matt James' statements, they show me an individual who is so spellbound on this white female, he cannot see the obvious happening in front of him. Now, when it comes down to your Matt James, it looks like he's one of those black males who goes out here and deifies and worships white women, and because he's so caught up in her white skin, he's not really thinking about the big picture as related to a relationship with this white woman. Now, this white woman, Rachel Kirkconnell, went to an antebellum party, a party that celebrated the biggest period of slavery, where your racists practically thought these were the good old days and thought nothing of going to this antebellum party and thought it was just something fun to do. But going to that antebellum party was an expression of contempt towards this black man. Unfortunately, this black man is so caught up in his quest for white sexual access that he cannot really see how he's compromising his intangibles of manhood, like his dignity, his self-respect, and his self-worth, and he's thinking that he's got to make efforts to help her be so anti-racist, but this woman has shown you that she clearly is white supremacist, and she has grown up in a culture of white supremacy because she thought nothing of going to this antebellum party before she met you, and she thought nothing of hiding that information from you. And that's something that goes over the head of Matt James, who thinks that he can help change this woman and help her unlearn racism. Racism she practically grew up in ever since she was a small child, and this is the culture she learned over the years, and the culture she learned to have no problem accepting when she went and dressed up in that antebellum outfit and went to that antebellum party, a party that expressed nothing but contempt for black people. But he's going to try to make it work with a female when it's just clear as day to anybody that it's not going to work. Because just like I stated in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, you can't make something work. Either it works or it doesn't, because people are as is. And as you find them is how they will be. So it's just completely foolish to sit there and think you're going to change somebody in a relationship. And those who think they are going to change somebody in a relationship are destined to fail, because you cannot fix what their mothers and fathers have raised them to be. And that's something I put in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. If his mama could not make him into a better person, then what can you do? And that's what I propose to black women as related to their relationships with dysfunctional black men. And what I'm proposing to Matt James is if her mother and her father could not stop her from being a racist and a white supremacist, then what can you do? But that is a question that many of your black males who want to go out here and lust after white women don't want to answer, because they are so caught up in getting the attention of a white female that they cannot really understand that this white female will just get involved with you just to be able to save face. But while she's with you on the outside, she's still expressing the same feelings of racism on the inside, and she does not really respect you. She just is with you because she wants to go out here and be accepted by these people out here as making an effort to change and then not be racist. But what's really sad about this story is you have your Matt James talking about trying to change this woman and trying to be more sensitive to her, but he's not understanding that it's the woman who's supposed to cater to you. So he's basically putting himself in a submissive position under this woman, talking about how he's going to be a more sensitive partner, how he's trying to understand, but you just don't understand a racist. No, you walk away from a racist and a white supremacist because this person's beliefs are not going to change. This person's beliefs are core to who they are, and these beliefs are not going anywhere. This black man sadly doesn't understand that when you're dealing with a racist and a white supremacist, a racist and a white supremacist is not interested in trying to change their ways because they get benefits for being racist and white supremacist in America. And when it comes down to this country, your white female gets plenty of benefits because white supremacy elevates her to a high position in society, and she gets every benefit she can from being a part of white society. So this white woman, when she's out here with this black man, every second she's with him, she's losing her social status for a short period of time. But if she goes out here and cleans herself up, she'll be back out here and the white men will want her once again if she doesn't really get too heavily involved with this man. But this is something that again flies over his head because he's so busy caught up in her white skin that he can't see that this white woman is basically using him to get the I'm not racist card, and then once she gets the I'm not racist card, she's going to toss him to the curb because she does not want to change, because in white supremacist America, she does not have to change. She has every benefit coming to her. And this is something that flies over his head because he's just spellbound in getting with some white woman and just so caught up in white panty draws that he can't really think that this is a bad situation, and he did the right thing the first time. When he dumped her the first time, that was the right thing to do, because you don't give a racist a second chance to disrespect you. When you go out here and try to talk about how you want to have critical conversations about being in a relationship and needing a partner, especially if that partner isn't black, to understand what comes with me and my life being black, that again is coming from a position of weakness. The woman is not supposed to be trying to figure out how she fits into your, and how you're supposed to figure out how you fit into her life. She's supposed to want to be a part of your life. Unfortunately, this flies over the head of this bachelor, who at the end of the day is going to still be single at the end of all of this, because when you're trying to call yourself changing a partner, that partner has no interest in changing because you're coming from the position of weakness trying to so-called fix said person, but this person has no incentive to be better because they know that they can always go out here and monkey branch to another person who will just accept them as they are. And when you see somebody who is already in a state of damage, there is no fixing them. Again, it's like going to the used car lot and seeing a car with a blown head gasket. It just is more expensive to fix than the car is actually worth. Or you go to a garage sale and you see something that's just broken. You have to accept that is what it is. There is no fixing it. But you have many of these black males out here because they see some crystal blue eyes and some creamy white skin, and they think that they can fix said person, but you can't fix what's in somebody's heart. If they are a racist and they are a white supremacist, there is no fixing that. And to go out here and try to call yourself fixing it just shows how little dignity, how little self-respect, and little self-worth you have. And that's sad because this man is supposed to be this wealthy, high-end bachelor, but he shows how little self-esteem, little self-worth, and little value he has as a man. Even though he is a supposed high-value man, he has low self-esteem, and because he has low self-esteem, he's willing to step down to some white racist female's level instead of holding himself to a higher standard. And that is one of the saddest things about this whole Black Bachelor, is it shows how some of these black men deify and worship white women, and how they are literally willing to sacrifice their dignity and self-respect just to be with a white woman, even if that white woman is a racist and would possibly call him the N-word. He'll still sit there with a big Kool-Aid smile on his face, thinking he's accomplished something major, when in actuality, he's just basically a laughingstock. And that same woman who he's trying to chase and trying to get her to see his value still sees him as worthless. And the reason why she probably sees him as worthless is because he doesn't see his own worth, he doesn't see his own value, and he doesn't have the self-esteem, self-worth, or dignity to kick her to the curb. Because if she'll go to a party which celebrates black men in chains, then she'll have no problem calling 911 and watching as the police take him away in chains. And this is the other thing that your Matt James can't connect the dots on with this kind of female, is if this female has no problem watching you be and celebrating slavery, she has no problem putting you back in an oppressive condition if you go out here and disagree with her over the drawers on the floor or the toilet seat. So this guy is not critically thinking, because he's so caught up in trying to please white people, trying to gain white acceptance, and he's still trying to get access to these racist white woman's panty drawers, not understanding that you are worth more than whatever nuclear waste is percolating between those legs. And you don't need the taste of that atomic waste. You need to go out here and get your head examined, because to go back to a racist is like a dog going back to the vomit, like it says in the Bible. And that's basically you going back to to sin. And again, it just shows how codependent some of these black males are out here, who want to go out here and get with these white women. They're literally willing to sacrifice their dignity, their self-respect, and their self-worth, all to get access to a white female who doesn't think anything of them. Now, if you want to learn more about the dysfunction of men like your Matt James, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping: Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, and The Man Crisis on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find those books on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to learn more about why so many black women are single, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes taking care of business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.